everybody, welcome to the Waldock Way. I'm Jessica, and today's video is going to be about self-care. So I asked you guys about 2 weeks ago if you had any ideas for videos or if there was anything in particular you wanted to see, and I had a pretty large handful of you say that you would really like to see my self-care tips, and then I had a few others of you say that you would like to see my snack stash. So we're going to throw those things together because for me, my snack stash is part of my self-care, and today's video is going to be self-care and my snack stash. First of all, my self-care is not really tips because I stink at self-care. I'm the type of person who goes 100 miles an hour until I crash and burn, and I really stink at taking care of myself. I have to be reminded constantly, like, you need to slow down, or it's okay to have a down day, or maybe you should take a day off, or just whatever. I am not really good at it. So I'm not going to give you tips, because I feel like that would be totally unfair of me to be like, this is what you should do, when I know that my self-care is extremely probably unhealthy. What I'm going to do is tell you what works for me when I need that time, what I do that I think works for self-care, and then I'm going to share with you what's in my snack bin, because we hide it, and this is all of my like emergency stash. So also make sure you stay tuned to the end because there's going to be a giveaway. So when I am in need of some recharging, the first thing that I do is normally stay up way too late. I'm a night owl, so my favorite thing to do is to put everybody to bed, and then when the house is super quiet, just enjoy that time alone. Sometimes I will enjoy that time alone just doing nothing. Sometimes I will scroll on my phone. Sometimes I will binge watch something on Netflix. I recently stayed up all night and watched the entire Tiger King season, and I'm not proud of that, and I'm not saying go watch it because it's like a train wreck that you can't look away from. But those are the kinds of things I do. I don't necessarily have the best sleep habits when I do that because I'm staying up super late to be alone, and then normally I'm not getting enough sleep the next day. So that's not necessarily a tip. That's just what I do because I need that alone time, and sometimes it's the only time I can get it. Other things that I do are read books for me. I love to read books about homeschooling or about parenting. I also really love middle grade novels too. So right now I am listening to Simplicity Parenting on audio, and I'm also listening to Nevermore on audio too, the second one of the Nevermore series on audio, since we can't actually have any books, which it works. I get through a lot of books on audio, but I'm gonna be honest, I really miss like physical books right now. I also listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to podcasts when I do like household chores or when I'm driving. If Emily is like occupied doing something in the car, I'll listen to a podcast. I will write a blog post very soon, you guys, of my favorite podcasts so that you know what they are. But that is what I do when I need like to kind of tune things out. I will grab a book or my earbuds and just kind of listen to somebody else's words. I find that especially podcasts can be extremely encouraging. They can be uplifting. They can, especially some of the ones that are coming out lately, like the Homeschool Sisters and Colleen Kessler, Pam Barnhill, they all have had very awesome, uplifting, encouraging podcasts. So I've really, really enjoyed listening to those and kind of lifting my spirits. And I love that most of them are only 20 to 30 minutes, so you can like listen to one and get filled up very quickly. Being outside changes my mood like almost instantaneously. If my husband comes home and we've had a bad day and things are tense, he will immediately be like, come on, let's go outside. Even though I will resist sometimes, ultimately he knows that we need to get outdoors because that will change mine and Emily's and his mood. So we will go outside just in our yard. We have a huge wooded area, so we can just go outside in the yard. We can go for a walk. We can go for a golf cart ride. Just getting out in the fresh air always seems to help. Occasionally, if I'm really, really crabby, he'll send me on a walk by myself. That does not happen very often, but it does happen. He'll say, you know, I really think you should go for a walk. And normally that's his nice way of being like, you're driving us crazy and you need to go because you're super stressed and tense. And I tend to listen because if he says it, it's normally pretty bad. So And those are kinds of the things that I do. I stay up way too late. I binge watch TV. I read books. I listen to podcasts. Occasionally, I will get a hot shower without interruptions. That doesn't happen often, but that's always a huge perk. Getting outside. Another one is talking to friends. So I have a handful of friends that are just, they're just awesome. Just having a conversation with them like really lifts my spirits, whether that is through text or phone call or FaceTime or Voxer. Just 10 to 15 minutes, chatting with them can just totally turn my day around. So sometimes I have to like, hey, give me a minute. Let me call somebody to vent or to complain, or just to be like, I just need to hear your voice for 5 minutes so that I can, distract from whatever it was that was stressing me out or just fill me up. So those are things that I personally do. I would love to know what you guys do for self-care, because obviously, like I said, I know that I stink at it and I'm trying really hard to get better about it. I do have an emergency stash of snacks and I keep them. I do a lot of snacking on them when it's really late at night and I'm by myself and it's been a rough day. There are a few things in here I will show you guys that I will sneak in the middle of the day if I need them. And it stays here. Let me show you. It's just like one of those small containers from the Dollar Tree, and it stays in the top of my pantry. So the first thing in here are Hershey bars. Now we buy the 6-pack of these. Honestly, for when we do bonfires, we'll pull 1 or 2 out for s'mores, but ultimately they're in my snack bin because I need chocolate way more than anybody else does in this house. I'm just kidding. They stay in my snack bin so they don't get eaten, like just totally gone before we need them. But I probably would not have like sat down and ate all of them. I always make sure there's 2 or 3 left for when we have bonfires and s'mores. My husband, this is the guilty pleasure he always brings me. It was my favorite from my childhood. So every time he stops, like at a Dollar General or somewhere that has them, he always buys me the bags of the caramel creams, because there's like not a whole lot in here, but he knows that they're my guilty pleasure. He also always grabs me the Cowtails too. These 2 aren't even open, you guys, because I probably just recently finished a bag. But he always grabs me the Cowtails too because they're like basically a miniature version of the caramel creams. They're very, very similar. I have a bag of Sweet Tart jelly beans. At Easter, I always buy these and then the Starburst ones because they're the best. And they're only out at Easter, but I haven't been anywhere to find the Starburst one. My husband found these for me and picked them up because I was like really, really sad that I wasn't going to be getting my Easter jelly beans this year because they normally last me at least 6 months. So he grabbed me 1 bag, so I have those. I also have, they're stuck in here, you guys, Cosmic Brownie Little Debbie's. This was another one of those things that was a favorite of mine as a child, and so they're like sentimental. They bring an extra layer of comfort and peace. I have the Wildberry Skittles, and my top favorite that probably gets used the most is peanut butter M&Ms. And you guys, these bags says for sharing, but it lies. This is not for sharing. It is not sharing size. This is my favorite though because these bags have the Ziploc resealable things. They're a little loud. I do think they should make the bag a little quieter so that you could get into it without getting caught. But it makes it super easy to just open it and grab a handful or a few when you really need something like right that second, just to, treat yourself. And then you can just seal the bag back up. So that's why these are probably my favorite. This is like my #1 staple in my snack stash. We will not ever be without peanut butter M&Ms. All right, you guys, those are my self-care non-tips and my snack stash. So I would love to hear some actual tips and things that you guys do for self-care. And I would also love for you to be totally honest and tell me what is in your snack stash. Today's giveaway is for More Than Enough by Kara Anderson. To enter to win, you must be a subscriber, like this video, and leave a comment down below.